The hum is the grand accumulation of human activity, low-frequency sound and infrasound. Third, that the hum is a terrestrial geological phenomenon.
Strange and terrifying noises disrupted the peace of the weekend in quiet places and busy towns. These sounds were real, leaving people feeling uneasy but curious. Picture walking through North St. Louis County, filled with old stories and shadows where even the air feels tight and heavy with secrets. Despite efforts to improve the area by North County Incorporated, something unknown now whispers from the sky. What are these sounds? Join us to discover what frightening secrets the government might be keeping from you. The search for meaning behind Putnam's aerial mysteries. In the quiet countryside of southern Putnam County and the busy areas of North St. Louis County, the calm of their weekends was disturbed by strange, unexpected noises coming from the sky. These sounds, definitely real and not just from a movie or imagination, made people wonder where they were coming from and left them feeling a bit uneasy. North St. Louis County, a place full of beautiful parks and places to explore, invites you to bike next to the Mississippi River, fish in lovely lakes, or watch birds from bridges. It's a place with a lot of history too, where you can visit places like Bellefontaine Cemetery in Arboretum, Fort Bellefontaine, and the St. Louis Mercantile Library. There's also a big project called Wildcare Park being developed, where people will get to see animals up close in a safari-like experience, and researchers will study endangered species. The North County Incorporated is an organization that works hard to make North St. Louis County a better place. It's been around for more than 47 years, helping businesses, groups, and people. They focus on making the community stronger and the economy better, working on things like improving schools, healthcare, and roads. Their goal is to make sure the area continues to grow and be a great place for everyone to live and work. Now, these weren't just typical noises. They were described as being out of this world, prompting thoughts of extraterrestrial activity or scenes from a sci-fi novel. This situation sparked a lot of conversation among the locals. Some began to speculate whether these incidents were messages from beyond or merely natural occurrences that science had yet to clarify. Southern Putnam is notably serene and rural, in contrast to the more populated and vibrant North St. Louis. Despite these differences, curiosity and worry about these peculiar noises brought the people from both regions together. Picture a regular day suddenly filled with an inexplicable sound. It's unlike anything familiar. This event occurred not just once, but repeatedly, disturbing the quiet and causing not just wonder, but also some unease. Conversations began with, "Did you hear that too?" confirming that these sounds weren't just figments of one's imagination. Descriptions of the sounds varied widely. Some likened them to a deep hum, others to a piercing whistle, and a few to a metallic clang. This diversity added layers to the mystery, leaving no clear pattern or single explanation for the phenomena. Authorities and scientists began to investigate, examining possible sources such as local industries, airports, and even the weather. But nothing seemed to explain the sounds. The absence of clear answers led to more theories and worries among the people. At community gatherings, residents shared their experiences and guesses. Some thought the noises might be from distant construction or mining operations, with their sounds traveling far under certain atmospheric conditions. Others considered natural but uncommon geological events that might produce noises like shifts in the earth or gas releases. The possibility of something beyond our current understanding or from another world lingered in the air. The mystery and lack of scientific explanation made some ponder our place in the universe and whether we're truly alone. As word of these sounds spread, they attracted attention from experts across various fields, such as acoustics and geology, who offered their help to unravel the mystery. They set up equipment hoping to catch and analyze these sounds, aiming to track down their source. Even as this research continued, life in both Putnam and North St. Louis went on, albeit with a newfound awareness. The noises had, in a way, brought the communities closer, fostering a shared sense of intrigue and wonder about our world. Ultimately, the origin of the sounds remained a puzzle for some time. They would appear sporadically, adding to the challenge of pinpointing their cause. Yet this inconsistency also reminded us of the vast unknowns in our world, encouraging continuous inquiry, exploration, and learning. The Bible is known for its intriguing stories, teachings, and predictions that have captured human interest for ages. Specifically, the book of Revelation is renowned for its vivid portrayal of the world's end, depicting scenes where heavenly sounds like angelic trumpets mark important moments leading to the world's final judgment and renewal. These depictions have sparked widespread fascination and debate about their significance and the possibility of such events occurring. In our modern era, where scientific discoveries have demystified many ancient mysteries, biblical narratives like those in Revelation might seem misplaced. Yet when unexplained aerial noises emerge, as they have in places like southern Putnam County and North St. Louis County, it prompts some to ponder if these occurrences could be linked to ancient foretelling. Are these mysterious sounds merely undiscovered aspects of nature, or could they be celestial alerts? Revelation's text, rich in symbolic and cryptic imagery, lays out prophetic visions encompassing catastrophes, conflicts, and divine acts. It's a complex scripture subject to diverse interpretations over time. Believers see it as a roadmap to the apocalypse, while skeptics view it as an allegorical piece of spiritual literature. Advancements in technology and science have allowed us to rationalize many phenomena once thought to be divine or supernatural manifestations. Phenomena like earthquakes, solar eclipses, and cometary appearances now have scientific explanations, moving us away from interpreting them as mystical signs. However, the occurrence of inexplicable sounds continues to fuel our imagination, urging us to explore existential questions about life, the cosmos, and the possibility of unknown realms. The dialogue surrounding these unexplained sounds serves as a meeting point between faith and empirical knowledge, illustrating that despite our progress, mysteries still abound. This doesn't necessarily equate every mysterious event with eschatological signs or divine communication, but underscores the universe's ability to continually amaze us in our limited understanding. For the scientifically minded, these auditory enigmas represent challenges awaiting resolution through research in scientific method. Conversely, those of a spiritual or religious inclination may interpret these sounds as cosmic signals, hinting at the profound mysteries beyond our grasp. This ongoing discourse about the sound's origins, whether mundane or divine, mirrors our broader pursuit of comprehension. It reflects our collective desire to decipher the world, define our place within the cosmos, and contemplate the extent of our knowledge. Whether science unravels these auditory puzzles or they persist as enigmas, they remind us of our world's complexity and our relentless quest for insight and marvel. Before hastily associating these auditory oddities with apocalyptic prophecy, let's adopt a wider perspective. Might these sounds represent the cosmos communicating in new, yet-to-be-understood ways? Or are we merely participants in a grand narrative written by forces beyond our ken? This brings us to a critical inquiry. Do these sounds foreshadow the prophesied apocalypse, or are they just the latest instance of humanity wrestling with the unknown? Let's explore the strange sounds heard around the world and what they might mean. The science behind global sonic phenomena. All around the globe, people have been puzzled and fascinated by strange sounds, from haunting hums to blasts similar to trumpets. NASA has offered a scientific viewpoint on these almost end-of-the-world-like sounds, pointing out that what some might think of as music from the heavens or signals from another world are actually just the Earth's own background noise. This noise only becomes noticeable to us when it gets really loud. This information helps to calm some of the worry about these noises, indicating that they aren't messages from space or signs that ancient prophecies are coming true. Instead, these sounds are just part of our planet's natural noises. The mysterious sound known as the hum has been a topic of interest and annoyance for people around the world, from the United States to the UK and from Australia to Canada. This strange noise, which sounds like a far-off truck engine running, is more noticeable when everything else is quiet, particularly at night and inside buildings. Interestingly, only a small number of people, about 2% to 4%, report being able to hear it. These individuals describe it as a constant sound that follows them, even though others nearby might not hear anything at all. This has led some to explore whether the noise could be something internal, like an echo of the body's own workings, or something from the environment that only some can pick up. In certain cases, like the well-documented Windsor hum in Ontario, Canada, the noise was thought to come from specific industrial activities, such as operations at a steel plant across the border in the United States. Though the exact cause remains unconfirmed, the sound reports decreased significantly when the plant was shut down in 2020. This particular instance suggested that at least some hums could have identifiable sources, even if they're not always easy to pinpoint. Theories about the hum's origins are wide-ranging. Some scientists think it might be related to natural occurrences like the movement of the Earth's crust or the sound of ocean waves hitting the shore. These natural events might create low-frequency vibrations that travel long distances and are heard by a sensitive few. Other possible explanations include animal noises, such as the mating calls of certain fish, or environmental factors like the interaction of jet streams with the atmosphere. Despite the ongoing collection of data and personal accounts from those who hear the hum, it remains a mystery with no single, universally accepted explanation. This mix of unsolved puzzle and widespread curiosity keeps both researchers and the public fascinated. Projects like the World Hum Map and Database aim to gather information from across the globe in hopes of finding patterns or clues that might lead to a better understanding of this phenomenon. In-depth studies of these weird sounds have revealed several reasons for them. For example, a global humming noise was found to be linked to a natural event, the formation of a new underwater volcano in the Indian Ocean. This shows how the natural world can create sounds that travel far and wide. Besides natural and environmental reasons, some folks see these sounds as signs of something beyond our understanding, or even as warnings of the world coming to an end. From all around the world, there are reports of odd noises like loud bangs, clanking metal, and mysterious hums coming from the sky. While some of these sounds have been explained, many remain a mystery, leading to a lot of guessing about where they're really coming from. Even though there's a whole range of ideas, from scientific to supernatural, about what these sounds could be, no one explanation fits them all. Scientists are still trying to figure it all out, but the elusive nature of these sounds means there's still a lot we don't know. How people react to these sounds varies. Some are filled with curiosity and amazement, while others find them unsettling or even scary. But one thing's for sure, the mystery of these sounds leaves a mark on everyone who hears them, driving continuous curiosity and research. The so-called sky trumpets have really grabbed people's attention, reminding some of biblical predictions about the end of the world and sparking a mix of fear, wonder, and doubt among various communities. These peculiar noises have been reported in many places, like the United States, Canada, Costa Rica, Russia, the Czech Republic, and Australia. They're often described as deep hums or the sound of trumpets or horns that seem to come from the sky or the ground, carrying a metallic, vibrating essence with them, sometimes even with groaning noises or voices that can't be made out. People have come up with many guesses to explain the weird sounds heard around the world, from scientific ideas like solar plasma interacting with Earth's magnetic field or the Earth's plates moving, to wilder guesses about aliens, secret government actions, or even spiritual or evil forces at work. Some think these noises might be warnings from above or tricks by dark forces to scare us. Yet finding solid proof that these sounds point to end-of-the-world events mentioned in religious texts hasn't happened. There are voices of caution, like experts and skeptics, who say we should be careful before believing everything we hear or see online. For example, Pastor Carl Gallups, who writes about what the Bible says regarding trumpet sounds, suggests looking into these matters carefully. He points out how easy it is to fake sounds in videos, and that if these events were truly from beyond our world, there would likely be more clear and widespread evidence. For a long time, people have tried to match up miraculous stories from religious books with scientific explanations, like suggesting that the burning bush was near a volcano and certain plants that could make someone see visions, or that the Star of Bethlehem was actually a rare space event like planets lining up or a comet. These ideas try to bridge the gap between faith and science, often making the stories even more fascinating by connecting them with things we can see and understand in nature. This ongoing debate, mixing ancient predictions with today's worries, keeps us guessing about the true nature of these strange noises. Are they signs from above, simply natural sounds, or the Earth reacting to human impact? The discussion continues, filled with beliefs, skepticism, and intrigue, leaving us with a sense of uncertainty about how much control we really have over our world. Next, let's explore why the sky's strange sounds catch our attention and what they mean to us. Volcanoes, eclipses, and our quest for understanding. These strange sounds from the sky, reminiscent of scenes from apocalyptic stories, intrigue us for reasons beyond just wondering where they come from. They tap into deep emotions and thoughts about life, stirring a mix of fear, hope, and a desire to understand our place in a vast, often uncaring universe. This crossroad of mystery and prophecy sparks conversations that go beyond the sounds themselves, touching on our deepest fears, dreams, and the eternal human quest for meaning. Our fascination with these mysteries isn't just for fun, it's rooted in our very being. Psychology experts explain that our ancestors needed to quickly figure out if unknown things in their surroundings were dangerous or beneficial. Mysterious things could mean new places to find food or safe spots to stay, making it important to explore them. This urge to uncover the unknown isn't just about getting answers, it's also about the excitement of discovery. This interest in mysteries also helps us mentally. Our brains get a break when we're caught up in something truly fascinating. We don't have to force ourselves to pay attention, which can actually help improve our memory, lower stress, and make us feel more relaxed. This shows how engaging with nature or diving into a mystery can be really good for us. Though we couldn't dig into all the academic studies on how sound affects our emotions, it's well known that sounds can make us feel a lot of different ways, from scared and anxious to full of wonder. This ties into how our emotions can respond to what we hear. The interpretations of these mysterious sounds split into two main ideas. Some see them as messages from beyond, urging us to reflect and change our ways. Others believe these sounds are natural, just part of how the Earth works. Despite these differences, there's a shared feeling of nervousness, a reminder of how the unknown can scare us, pushing us to seek some sense of order. The 1991 Mount Pinatubo eruption was a huge deal, being one of the biggest volcanic events in the last century. It was important for both experts and regular folks because it threw tons of ash and gas up high into the sky, which made the whole world a bit cooler. This event made people really think about how nature's big outbursts can change our weather and climate. After that eruption, scientists got really into studying how these big volcanic blowups affect our planet's weather. They found out that the sulfur gas from Pinatubo created a kind of misty layer way up in the sky that cooled down the Earth for a couple of years. This showed everyone how the Earth's weather is a pretty fragile thing and how natural stuff like volcanoes can shake it up in big ways. They also learned that big volcano eruptions can mess with the climate for a long time because they put so much gas and ash up in the atmosphere. These things can block sunlight and make the Earth cooler, which is a fancy way of saying that nature has a lot of power to change our climate. Looking ahead, there's a big solar eclipse coming in 2024 on April 8th, and people are super excited. This eclipse is going to be a big deal because it's happening when the sun is super active, which means we might get to see some really cool solar flares and stuff. Plus, with all the new tech we have now, scientists can learn a lot by watching it. This eclipse will go all the way across North America, from Mexico to Canada, and lots of people in the US will get to see the sun get completely covered up by the moon. Every place it goes through might see it a bit differently because of the weather and where they are. Eclipses are always different because of how the Earth, moon, and sun line up. The one in 2024 is going to last almost 4.5 minutes in some places, which is a long time for everything to go dark in the middle of the day. But here's the thing, are we really getting closer to figuring out the universe's secrets, or are we just seeing what we want to see in the stars? People have always looked for deeper meanings in stuff happening in the sky, trying to figure out what it all means for us down here. As we get ready for this big eclipse, it's kind of a moment to think about whether it's just a cool thing to watch or if it means something more for all of us. Now we revisit an event that changed how we see Earth's climate, how Mount Pinatubo cooled the Earth. The eruption of Mount Pinatubo back in 1991 was a monumental event that caught the eye of the entire world, not just scientists and the people who lived nearby. This volcano sent so much ash and sulfur high up into the sky that it made the whole Earth a little cooler. This big shakeup got more people thinking about how the Earth's weather can change when big natural events happen. After this big eruption, scientists got really busy trying to figure out exactly how these kinds of eruptions mess with the weather. They learned that the sulfur from Pinatubo spread out high in the sky and made a kind of blanket that reflected sunlight away from the Earth. This helped everyone understand just how sensitive our weather is to changes, showing us how everything in the atmosphere is connected. They also figured out that when volcanoes like Pinatubo erupt big time, they can throw up enough stuff into the sky to change weather patterns all over the world for years. The science behind how all this ash and gas can cool down the planet shows us how nature can dramatically change our climate. Now looking ahead, there's a big solar eclipse coming in 2024 on April 8th that's got everyone buzzing. This isn't just any eclipse. It's happening at a time when the sun is super active, which means we might see some really cool solar flares. Plus, with today's technology, scientists can study the eclipse like never before. This eclipse will pass right over North America, from Mexico all the way up to Canada. That means lots of people in the US will get to see the day turn into night for a little while. Every place along the eclipse's path is getting ready for lots of visitors who want to see this amazing sight. What makes an eclipse special is how the Earth, Moon, and Sun line up. The 2024 eclipse is expected to give people in certain places about 4.5 minutes of total darkness, which is pretty long for an eclipse. This gives scientists and everyone else a great chance to watch and learn. But if we step back and think about it, are we really getting closer to understanding the universe's secrets? Or are we just seeing what we want to see in the stars and sky? People have always looked for meanings in natural events, wondering if they're signs of something more. As we get ready for the 2024 eclipse, it's a moment to think about whether this event is just a cool natural phenomenon or if it means something deeper to us. The idea that the frightening scenes of apocalypse in the Bible also bring messages of hope and renewal isn't just about fearing the end. The day of the Lord is seen as a time for fixing what's wrong and getting closer to God, signaling that even during tough times, there's a chance for making things right and starting anew. These dramatic celestial events mentioned in religious texts aren't just about doom. They also reflect our deep connection with the cosmos and the belief that humanity's destiny is tied up with the workings of the universe. The descriptions of the sky darkening, stars falling, and the moon turning red aren't just there to scare us. They underline the importance of these events, suggesting they're powerful enough to shake the very core of the cosmos. The stories in the Bible, from both the Old and New Testaments, mix these images of cosmic chaos with the idea of divine help, painting a picture of human life that includes our fears, our moral struggles, and our hopes for being saved or redeemed. Looking at these stories with a more science-based view, the Bible's references to stars falling could be talking about natural events like meteor showers, which have been a part of human experience for millennia. Meteor showers, which occur when Earth moves through debris from comets or asteroids, result in beautiful streaks of light in the sky, known and predicted by scientists with accuracy. Understanding these biblical descriptions as references to natural, observable phenomena allows us to bridge the gap between ancient text and our current knowledge. This approach doesn't lessen their spiritual meaning, but instead invites us to consider how our ancestors interpreted these natural wonders within their spiritual beliefs. This blend of ancient faith and modern science shows our continuous amazement at the universe. Whether we see these events as divine signals or natural occurrences, they connect us with past generations who also looked up in wonder, reminding us of our shared curiosity. Now, as we face the mysteries of the cosmos, we're left to ponder if these scriptural warnings are truly signs of the end times or misunderstandings of astronomical events. Are these celestial signs of disaster, or are we simply searching for patterns in the stars? Let's dive into how the sky's mysteries, from stars to comets, show off the universe's rules and spark our wonder. A tale of science, gods, and predictions. Imagine a scenario where every stunning view and odd noise from the sky is the universe simply sticking to its natural laws, showing us the beauty of science in action. Visualize a world where each enigmatic sky event is grounded in scientific explanations. Stars shifting, planets lining up, and comets zooming through space, all thanks to the spectacular workings of physics. But here's where things get interesting. It's not just about what we read in the Bible. Cultures around the world, including religious and mystical traditions, have their own views on these cosmic signs. For example, in Islamic stories, there's a day predicted where the sun will rise in the west and the moon will split, signaling the approach of a major, world-changing event. Throughout human history, big events in the sky, like solar and lunar eclipses, weren't just cool scientific phenomena. People thought they were messages from higher powers. Civilizations such as the Mayans and Aztecs took these events very seriously, thinking they were signs from their gods. They weren't just into astronomy for the sake of knowledge. They believed these celestial events had real, divine purposes that could affect their lives and the future of humanity. The Mayans and Aztecs deeply connected with the stars and eclipses, seeing them as important signs based on their beliefs and traditions. The Mayans, who were really good at astronomy, built lots of star-watching places all over their land, from Mexico to Central America. These places weren't just for science. They were also sacred, where they tried to understand what the gods wanted. They thought that the way the stars and planets moved had a big impact on what happened to people on Earth. They could tell when eclipses would happen really well, using this knowledge to plan when to farm and hold special ceremonies, showing how important stars were to their way of life. Their calendars, especially the long count, were so accurate they could predict star events way into the future, proving their lasting influence on how we understand time and space today. In a similar way, both the Aztecs and Mayans saw eclipses as big warnings or signs from above. Different groups had their own views on eclipses, with some seeing them as chances for a fresh start and others as big events that needed special celebrations. The Aztecs, on the other hand, were worried by eclipses, thinking they might mean bad news or anger from the gods. Despite these different views, both cultures had really advanced ways of working out when eclipses would happen, showing they knew a lot about the patterns of the stars and planets. Even though people nowadays don't usually think of these strange sounds as messages from gods, our deep interest in figuring them out shows we're still as curious as ever about the mysteries of space. This curiosity ties us to our ancestors, who also looked up into the sky, wondering about what's up there, hoping to find answers, guidance, or any sign. Whether it's trying to understand eclipses as heavenly messages or figuring out strange sounds from space, both show how much we want to know our place in the big wide universe. The mysterious noises that have grabbed the attention of people like Dr. Glenn McPherson show our wide range of interest, from solid science to wild guesses. Dr. McPherson, who's behind a big project mapping a weird noise called the hum, digs into this puzzle. This noise, often compared to the sound of a far-off engine running, has been heard by people all over the planet. It seems to be more common at night and indoors, with 2 to 4% of people worldwide reporting they've heard it under certain situations. Dr. McPherson got curious about the hum in 2012 and started a big project to collect stories from people all over the world who've heard it. He found a whole community online of people sharing their experiences with the hum, leading him to gather reports from as far as Iceland, New Zealand, and Kazakhstan. This shows that the hum is a global mystery that we don't fully understand yet. People have lots of ideas about what causes the hum. Some think it's from low-frequency radio waves that aren't really sounds, but that our bodies pick up on. Others blame the constant background noise of our busy world, like traffic and factories. There are also guesses about Earth's natural processes, and some wonder if it's just a weird kind of ringing in the ears. Dr. McPherson is serious about using science to figure out the hum, staying away from wild theories and focusing on real, logical explanations. He wants to find out the truth and maybe even a way to help people bothered by the hum. His work is a big step towards understanding these odd noises, mixing scientific research with our natural wonder at the unknown. Exploring cosmic mysteries from ancient beliefs to modern science raises a question. Are we maintaining our ancestors' wisdom or losing spiritual connections? Like, subscribe, and share your thoughts.